What's going on, people, and welcome back to another mix breakdown. Today is going to be an interesting one because I'm going to give you a little peek into my recording process, the chain I use whilst recording, and of course a full mix breakdown. So please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Here is the song that we're going to show you today. It is called Baitface, I forgot the name for a second, by Joey. So let's take a listen.
My face bait, I don't do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying in my lane. We both do rapping, me and him are not the same. It's when it stays on, so I'm always on my game. I'm calm, but my boy wild, he ain't even tame. I always had a flicky, but my killie had some aim. Your gas out a chain, me, I'm trying to make some change. You see me in this pen, I'd rather see me in the rain. I'm sitting in it.
All right, cool. So first, let's go through my recording process. So here is my tracking channel, and this is where I record vocals onto. We have the VMR, of course, as always, and I chose the FG800, which is a C800 replica, I guess you could call it, or a simulator. And this is interesting. I don't actually, although I use this mic on a lot of my tracks, usually with Joey, I don't use this mic because I don't know what it is. It just doesn't work well with his mic, but this is quite an old mix now. So maybe I didn't realize it at the time, but I much prefer on his vocals, the FG47. And you know, that just kind of shows you how good it is to be able to just switch mics depending on the vocalist I'm working with. But if you've only got one mic, don't stress. Please don't start going crazy and spending thousands of pounds on microphones. I'm just saying it works well with my setup to be able to just switch between mics. And then the console one, which is a big part of my mixing and recording process. So whilst I'm recording, I usually just try and clean up the vocal as much as I can because I like the artist to be leaving with a rough mix that sounds pretty decent. You know, if you're recording someone for the first time and they walk away with a decent sounding rough mix, they are going to come back. They're going to think, rah, this guy's studio is sick. But saying that, you don't want to spend too much time on this. You don't want to just stray away from your session. An artist does not want to sit there and watch you mixing when they want to just record their takes. So whilst they're recording, if you're going to be doing any mixing, do it very kind of under the radar, should I say, so they don't even notice. And that's what's good about the console one, because I can just do light, you know, clean up whilst they're recording. I don't want to throw them off by making the vocal sound bonkers whilst they're recording, but a light bit of compression, as you can see here, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. I will be doing about -3 gain reduction and just a little bit of EQ. And the reason I like doing this and the reason I like having a console one at the beginning of my recording chain is because, one, I can see how loud I'm going in to Pro Tools, make sure my levels are good, and like I said, it gives me a good starting point to start mixing. And as you can see on most of the other channels, I'm flicking through the channels right now, it's the same setup. I just copy and paste my track into all of the other channels, because look, once I've recorded a take, I will drag it down to one of these green channels here. These are my lead vocal channels. So in this particular situation, I drag it down to this lead vocal. Let me activate it actually and mute this one. So I'll drag it down to here and then, you know, copied over the VMR and the console one. We do have a wave tune on there as well, because there is some auto tune type vocals in this track, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And again, you put it on the channel so they can hear the auto tune in their headphones whilst they're recording. I didn't put any reverb or anything, but sometimes I do. So yeah, I copied down the VMR and the console one to my track. And then I start doing cleanup. As I said, I'm not going to go too crazy. I just like to do cleanup. I like to clean up the vocals in the actual channel. The mixing I do on the bus. So all of my lead vocals go to this lead vocal bus, and that's where I would do the actual heavy lifting, the processing. So we've got 2 DSs here. Now you're going to see a lot of DSs in this project. Like I said, I think this is before I realized that the C800 isn't great for Joey's vocals because they were so sibilant. So I ended up just doing a whole bunch of cleanup, a whole bunch of DSing and stuff like that. Okay, why am I getting an echo here? Ah, here we go. I need to bust this to lead vocals.
My face bait, I don't do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying in my lane.
So as you can see, I'm just doing small bits of de-essing on 2 different de-essers rather than just do one with a whole lot of de-essing. I've got the frequency range slightly different, and we're just doing a small amount of de-essing, just trying to clean up them S's, man. And then an EQ here, just that little cut here at 2K. And usually I'm doing this whilst he's recording. So whilst he's recording this, he doesn't even notice I'm doing it. I'm just doing some quick cleanup. I can't stress this enough. Please don't go too crazy trying to mix while someone's trying to record. They're trying to record, they're trying to stay creative, and you holding it up to do dumb stuff. Obviously, there are things that artists like. They like these little beat cuts and crazy stutters and effects, but generally they don't want to sit there whilst you compress a vocal or EQ some weird frequencies. So try and keep that as, you know, if they go out to smoke, that's when you want to be doing it. Or if they're on the phone, or if they're walking around the room writing bars, that's when you want to be doing this kind of stuff. But I like to do it on the channel here and then commit it. What I mean by that is all of this cleanup stuff, I want it to be committed to the track. And the reason I like doing that is, 1, it's making sure that I know that what I'm doing is for a purpose. And 2, it frees up CPU. Not that that's really an issue for me, but for me, it just makes everything a little bit easier when it comes to transitioning from recording to mixing. So all of this stuff here, I commit, and that's what this vocal print is right here. Not only that, I do run it through my SSL Fusion with nothing plugged turned on. I can't show you. I've not got like a GoPro or anything behind me, but I have got an SSL Fusion down here, and I'll just run my vocal through it with nothing on. Sometimes I might a little bit of EQ, but usually it would just be running it through it just to give it that analog flavor. And then I'll print it down here. As you can see, I've printed it here, and then you can just make an active, and now this is your vocal.
Rapping, me and him are not the same. It's when it stays on, so I'm always on my game. I'm calm.
All right, it sounds a little bit loud actually. Turn that down a little bit.
Rapping, me and him are not the same. It's when it stays on, so I'm always on my game. I'm calm, but my boy wild, he ain't even tame.
All right, so after that, after we printed it out, then we move on to our lead vocal bus here.
My face bait, I don't do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying in my lane.
So we've got the R compressor. Now, I don't usually use this. If I'm already using a compressor on a console 1, I don't usually use this compressor as well. As you can see, it's pretty similar settings from here to here. Just light compression, just to kind of open up the vocal. I can't really remember why I did this, but I probably just felt like the vocal needed a little bit more leveling before it went into anything else. Now you're going to see what I mean about the DSs. So I've got the C4 here, and we're doing a bit of compression here in the high frequencies. Even when I listen to it now, I still feel like it's a little bit sibilant. Maybe should I show you what it'd sound like with another mic? At the end, I'll show you what it would have sounded like if I changed the mic up. See if you can hear the difference. But we're compressing the high end, trying to get rid of that sibilance, trying to get rid of some of those S's. And also we're controlling them plosives. See here, I've got a preset here called plosives. And I think the reason he might have been too close to the microphone, maybe the pop shield was too close to the microphone, I'm not so sure. Like I said, I can't remember, but it was something that I felt like I needed to clean up using this C4.
My face bait, I don't do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying in my lane.
All right, so that's the compression we're using. Got an EQ here, rolling off the high. This is a little bit extreme. Like, do these kind of roll-offs here with caution. It's a little bit extreme, but I felt like it's what it needed. My phone's vibrating. It felt like it was what it was needed. We've also got this little cut here at 9K. Then we've got, you guessed it, another de-esser at 7K. The frequency is at 7K.
My face bait, I don't do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying in my lane. We both do rapping, me and him are not the same. It's winning.
All right, so then we're going into the VMR, and this is my parallel compression. I love this FG116. I love it for parallel compression. They have got a waves version of this. Try it out. I'm not sure if it's got a mix knob on it though. It might not. Oh, I just moved it. It might not have a mix knob on the waves one. You might have to do some parallel compression using buses. If not, or if you've got Slate, then yeah, FG116. Great for just giving it some body. That the parallel compression you can get with this is fantastic. Sometimes I might even slap one of these on 1-to-1, just let it pass through and get some of that saturation of the stressor flavor, just to give it some more weight and some more color. And then the CL1B, tried and tested on rap vocal forever now. CL1B is a great compressor for rap vocals. If you've not got this plugin, you should seriously consider getting it via whatever means, whether you buy plugins or you crack them, whatever. But the TubeTech CL1B is used quite a lot. Even in American music, you know, in big studios, they've always got one of these compressors. It's just a big part of rap music now. And then an EQ here, doing a little cut here at 430 hertz. And that's our main vocal. Of course, we've got some effects in that, but I'll show you that in a minute. Let's move to our ad-libs. The ad-libs are simple. Like I said, I just copy over the virtual mix rack and the console one. On this console one, however, if I open it up, where's our ad-libs? Number 12. As you can see, I'm doing a lot more compression. I like to compress quite heavy on the ad-libs. And of course, EQ, kind of like a phone effect kind of thing going on there. And the same with the Saturn. We're doing like a phone effect where we're lowering some of the lows and we're adding, what saturation is this? A gentle transformer onto the high mids. And that's what gives it that kind of phone effect sound without going full phone effect.
Do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying. Skrr. Okay.
And the Valhalla reverb with the Travis Scott preset. You can copy this down if you've got the Valhalla. The mix is at 6.4, and that's because, you know, usually I'll put it on a send, but for ad-libs, sometimes I'll just slap the whole reverb on the channel. Laziness, if nothing else, to be honest with you. The Pan Man, we want to get them ad-libs moving. We want to get them out of the way of the main vocals. That's why we use reverb. That's why we use the kind of phone effect. And that's just so that the main vocal is the star of the show, and it's not being masked. It's not being drowned out. It's up there, really prominent in the mix. The ad-libs are just kind of floating around it. And that is pretty much it. Of course, let's dive into the auto-tune vocals, which is over here.
Run it down till I was lean up, and I was running in the yard just to clean up. And bro said, backyard. Run it down till I was lean up, and I was running in the yard just to clean up. And bro said they bring a broomie and no cleaner. Bait face is hot like he got a fever. And still my face bait when the fans see me. I pray that the Lord keep his eyes on me. Bro still in the streets but don't die on me. Never sleep on a kid, I'm trying to live my dreams, Joe.
These vocals are so sibilant, it's actually jarring me even now. But we move. I think this might have been a deadline mix where he hit me up the day before it was being dropped. Like, can you mix the vocal? So that's probably why I didn't think to change the mic up. But anyway, so we have the main vocal here. So we mute these. Where are these going? These are going into the background. So we mute those.
I run it down till I was lean up, and I was running in the yard just to clean up.
So I think I used the same settings. Did I use the same settings? Auto-tune vocals are a little bit different. You can see that I've done a little bit of a cut there at 150 hertz. Waves Tune. So this is like a Melodyne type plugin. This is used when someone has sung something and it's just really out of tune. It might be flat, it might be too sharp, but sometimes the auto tune can't correct it. If it's, so I think I can see where it, I moved it. I was just looking at it, man. That's so annoying. But yeah, right here. So when originally you can see that it was down here, but it needs to be up here, right? Let's see if it.
I spun it down till I was lean up, and I was running in the yard just to clean.
Running. Can you hear when he says running? It kind of goes wobbly. The auto tune's not gonna save it in those type of situations. It's not gonna it's not gonna know to push it all the way up there. Sometimes you do either have to redo the take, or if you can't redo the take, do it manually with Melodyne or the Waves Tune plugin. So that's what I've done here. I've taken it from down here and pushed it up there. That way the auto tune can correctly correct it and make it sound good. The Waves Tune and Melodyne and plugins like that are good. If you need kind of, it's good. I don't know. It's kind of like a bit of a contradiction, because sometimes that sound is what makes auto-tune, like that's what makes music sound good with auto-tune. It's the kind of almost the rawness. It adds a certain texture, auto-tune does. But sometimes Melodyne is good just so it doesn't have to work so hard. So you just run it through Melodyne and do the odd correction. And then the Waves Tune the Waves Tune real time doesn't have to do such hard heavy lifting, but you know, you have to use your head, you have to use your ears and see when it needs what. The little altar boy, now if you can hear, if you listen to the vocal,
I spun it down till I was lean up, and I was running in the yard just to clean up. And bro said they bring a broom, he ain't no cleaner, babe.
So it's kind of like quite throaty, and that's because of this formant knob here. You see, I've just done like 0.1.
I spun it down till I was lean up,
and I was running in the yard just to clean up.
and bro said they bring a broom, he ain't no cleaner.
So that kind of just makes it sound a little bit more, I don't know, throaty. Like I wanted it to sound a little bit different. I didn't want it to just sound like he was just singing with auto-tune. I wanted it to sound quite, almost not quite robotic, but when it comes to adding these background vocals and harmonies in, it kind of works well together. So we've used it little altar boy with just a 0.1 of a semitone, just to give it that texture. And then a flanger as well to give it some more texture. We've got the Soothe on there and the Pro Q2. I probably could have gone more ham with the Soothe considering how sibilant these vocals are, but hey ho.
Yard, I spun it down till I was lean up, and I was running in the yard just to clean up. And bro said they bring a broom, he ain't no cleaner. Bait face, he's hot like he got a fever. Still my face bait when the fans see me. Lord keeps his eyes on me. Spun it down till I was lean up. I was running in the yard just to clean up. Bro said they bring a broom, he ain't no cleaner.
So it's more of the same. Waves Tune, little altar boy, and with the altar boy, on all the different kind of background vocals and things like that, you'll see that the formant knob is just slightly different on each one. So this one is minus 0.1, this one is minus 0.2, this one is plus 0.2, and this one hasn't got it on at all. That mixed with the fact that Joey can harmonize. If you've got a good vocalist, man, it's a game changer, really and truly. If you've got someone that can actually do a good vocal performance, it just makes everything just sound better even before you've put plugins on it. So the little harmony just takes it to a whole nother level. That's something that you can't use plugins to achieve. Do you know what I'm saying? So that, yeah.
Bro said they bring a broom, he ain't no cleaner.
Then it's all going into this background vocal track here with a little bit of a micro shift going on, and that is our vocal. I'm really happy with how that little breakdown, the little auto tune kind of take came out. I think it sounds dope. Yeah, I've got a few bits and bobs here on the backing track. This is just so I can get the song key. got a filter off. I must have filtered it somewhere. I don't know where. Let's have a look. Back here.
With more green in my yard than my backyard. I spun it down till I was lean up. And I was running in the yard just to clean up. And bro said they bring a... Keep his eyes on me. Bro still in the streets but don't die on me. Never sleep on the kill, I'm trying to live my dreams, Joe.
So yeah, those are the kind of things that artists love. Like when we're talking about how much mixing should you do in the session, these are the things that you really want to be doing whilst the artist is there, because they go mad over that shit. Trust me. Little simple things like that, beat cut.
A pineapple and a pina colada, a 3-course meal, like what you want from the starter. And you could be my lady,
Just a little bit of, you know, some cuts there. Use your initiative. You can really, really blow people away with simple cuts. It's crazy. But overall, that's kind of the gist of the whole mix right there. I didn't use too many plugins on the lead vocal channel because we did, like I said, we do most of the cleanup on this channel here. Now let's quickly show you how it would have sounded if I swapped over the mic, which I should have done, because I don't know, even now listening back to it is really jarring me, which just goes to show that a mix is never finished. I can come back to a mix that I did, you know, 2 years ago, and it's been out on Spotify and everything. If I open up the session, there's always things I'm going to change. So let's put the FG.
Face bait, I don't do this for the fame. The car was written off, so I'm staying in my lane. We both do rapping, me and him are not the same. It's winner stays on, so I'm always on my game.
So yeah, so the FG47 is a little less sibilant, it's a little less bright. And I think it suits Joey's voice a lot better. But obviously, I've not mixed this to this mic, so it still sounds better with the FG800 right now. But you can instantly tell that there's a lot less high end on it, a lot less top end. It's these old microphones, these classic microphones. They're known for being quite bright and sibilant and things like that. There's a special kind of flavor to it that makes them so special. But on this particular vocal, I don't think I should have used that FG800, but we move, you get me, we live and learn. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please leave me a like if you haven't already, subscribe, share the video, go and get your cat and say, yo, Josh has got a new video out, go check it out. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.